Testing. Testing. I think the blending is over. What's up, guys? All right. Quick recap on last night. So I kind of chopped myself a little bit. I wasn't really paying that enough attention, which is kind of unfortunate because I caught a good short here that I then let myself retrace up here and I took a loss. And then I kind of like saw this structure hitting this resistance here. And I felt like it was a pretty good top, especially we didn't take out, these highs, but still I think it felt pretty good. I reshorted, it ended up going down. And then I decided to just set a stop and go to bed. I set a stop. Fortunately, somewhere over here, I must not have looked at the chart. So basically I ended up getting stopped out, which is unfortunate because my resistance level would have been a good stop. If somewhere up here, I would have been fine. So, two lessons in here. Got to don't take the time, look at the chart for before setting stops. Anyways, my FTX stop barely survived. So what's going on now? Well, price action standpoint, it looks like a perfect time to get a flush, but you never know. These lows would be, it seems like inevitable that we take out these lows, but you never know. So I wouldn't feel comfortable buying anything though before, at least before 54, especially when you look at the hourly. We're about to close 2 minutes. I might scalp this actually. So let's say we close in 2 minutes. I would expect us to run the lows on the open and then ideally V up to maybe this level, something like that. I'm gonna try. I'll try and take this trade. Something like something like that. I'll set it up right now. Why not? Was that somewhere around 54.31 area? All right, let's see if that works. Okay. Anyways, so that would be the only long I'd take. Quick little scalp. Not sure if I'll get it. Not sure how it's gonna work. If we don't, wick down on the open. If we start climbing up, I'm gonna cancel. Okay. So, anyways, that's kind of what I'm looking at for just a quick scalp. The rest of this is just unknowns with lots of places to run stops. So this level looks okay for if you're really impatient. This level is much more significant. Um, Coinbase is selling something, yeah. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking at. I would be looking to get into buys if we take this level out, especially if we can reclaim it. I think that if you're going to try and knife catch, you need to be knife catching with low size, and you want to be targeting at least a good enough level. Like this could be the bottom, but it's not a good EV trade. So yeah, sure, you might miss the move, but I think you're much better off saving your bullets for lower. So I think this would be a good one, especially if we get a really nice flush. Another thing to keep in mind is open interest. It looks pretty bonkers on the hourly. We've really been just adding open interest nonstop. Here we go. Hold on. All right, ideally that's it. See if we can get a nice little bounce here. I honestly think you can just do that. Let's go to the moon. That hourly open thing is essentially, right, if you can get a little wick on the hourly open, jump in along, and then if it bounces right away, you're in good shape. If it retraces, probably not worth it. That being said, oh shit, this is a mark price stop. Hold on, fuck. Gotta get out on that. The mark price is really weak. It's been getting worse too, which is kind of scary. This is where you have to pay attention to your stop mechanism. So that stop loss was triggered by mark price. Problem though is that mark price is trading at such a discount relative to futures. So it's really tricky because yes, normally mark price is better trigger mechanism for your stop losses, but um, but when it's trading at such when there's such a premium on futures, then you can get fucked because your stop can get triggered long before you expect it to. Normally I use mark price, but if I notice that there's a huge discrepancy between the mark and the last trade, and I like for example here, mark is way below last trade. And especially with a tight stop, there's just no safe way to do this. I could get wicked out before price even gets there because mark is trading so low. See what happens here. But I go over to, yeah, well, they're not implemented. So hold on a sec. Yes, I can talk about limit chasers sort of in principle. Um, let me finish. I'm going to finish analysis, but I got to finish this trade first. Yeah, I'll get back to OI in a second. BNB to 500, no idea. I haven't looked at BNB in a very long time. All right, I'm going to stick to my original plan. Okay. Basically, yeah. So for longs, it's pretty scary because this open interest has been just climbing up nonstop, including during this dip. So you've got this sort of sell off, but it corresponds directly with this increase in open interest on basically everything, which is not good for bulls, because essentially it just means that more and more people are getting exposed to the market, both on the long and short side. And the problem is that longs are just adding more fuel. So essentially, open interest is sort of like it's sort of like rocket fuel when it comes to flushes for large moves. So these people are basically going to get trapped or are already trapped, meaning that if we start to sell off quickly, they're going to get liquidated or get stopped. And so the chances that this is a bottom is very, very low. But you know, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the scalp does. Um, so that's the situation with open interest. It does not look good for longs. If you're trying to build a huge long position right now, I think it's a very bad idea. Scalping's probably fine. If you have a swing position from lower, that's probably fine. If you're building a really long-term position, is probably fine. Like if you're doing that, or if you're just scalping super low time frame, quick little moves, that's also probably fine. If you're building a high leverage position with the hopes of ETF news tomorrow, you are almost surely going to get fucked. Um, so this is what I see in open interest. Yeah, again, from a price action standpoint, it looks awful. But don't short the bottom. Don't short dips, right? Absolutely short rips. So anything up here is probably a great entry for a short. If we get anywhere close to 56K, I'd say that's worth shorting. Um, try this again. Yeah, so if we can get anything close to 56K, I think that's worth shorting. But anything, anything right now, you're probably just getting a shitty entry. So, um, isn't it better to? Yeah, but this is just a good setup. I 100% agree about looking for shorts, but this structure is just like too good to not take the scalp. That doesn't mean it's going to be a whole, you know, it doesn't mean it's going to work out, but I think we're taking. So let's see. Might eat my words in a second. Been longing at 49K. Should I close, sir? That's up to you. I don't really do like too high time frame stuff. I still have my swing. I have about a quarter of my swing open still. I close most of it at 57-ish, 56, 57. I do think that it's worth having Bitcoin exposure at all times. I don't think Bitcoin is going to just die. It could. I would say it's always possible, but I think if your goal is 100K, don't get shaken out in between. If your goal is if your goal is like 60K, yeah, maybe you should close and buy lower. Well, then, yeah, I mean, I don't know. You could get out on a bounce too, or you could risk off. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. I think I talked about this a long time ago, but one thing that really helped me in trading is to move away from all or nothing trading. So instead of like, oh, I have to close everything or I have to um, leave everything open, there's nothing wrong with taking some size off, right? And I think that's really useful, especially from sort of like a coping standpoint. I think that when you trade all or nothing, it adds a huge amount of pressure because you don't want to be completely wrong or fuck up the trade, So it could be a good trade, but then you decide to close everything and it goes your way and you feel like shit. Whereas if you can scale out of some just to risk off, but then it goes your way, at least you still have some open. And I think that just like having a some position open, even if it's not the entire size, adds a lot to sort of your emotional stability. So I definitely think you don't have to trade all or nothing. You think ETF will sell the news or send us six figs? I think ETF would send us to 100K. Yes, but do I think that you should probably get out at that point? Probably. Um, but again, when I say get out, I mean I don't think you ever need to have zero Bitcoin exposure. But um, but obviously, you know, be reasonable with how much you have. If Bitcoin approaches 100K, yeah, I'm not going to have very much Bitcoin exposure. At that point, but you should just I would say always have a moon bag. Don't be the guy that sold everything because if it goes to a mill somehow and you sold everything at 100K, you're going to feel like shit. But you should definitely get out of most. That's what I would say. Um, all right. So that's price action. This is open interest. Want to look at so this is trading light, which is a heat map thing. I used to use it a lot. I haven't used it recently, but I'm trying to use it again. Um, Nice. Hold on. Come on. Come on. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Give me. Yeah, yeah, boy. There we go. That's all I was really looking for. Basically, people short the bottom and they get trapped. That little wick out right there was perfect entry, especially right on the hourly open. Those kind of trades are almost always worth taking. Now, does that mean you should hold this? No. This is not some sort of like ambitious high target thing. This is just a little juicy scalp. That's all. Why is Solana going up? Yeah, Solana has been pretty like inversely correlated with Bitcoin. I cannot explain alts. I do not. They just do whatever the fuck they want to do. All right, let's talk about trading light. Trading light is not that hard to understand from just like what it is. Basically, all trading light is it's a heat map, and a heat map is essentially just showing you levels where there were or are orders. So and you can adjust the sensitivity up here. So essentially, the more yellow or bright the lines are, the more orders you have resting there. So we can see here, this is a Coinbase. So you can see here on Coinbase, there it is. You know, this level here, you can see 39, 27. Somebody had some orders right at that level there. I think on Coinbase, it must not have even wicked. It looks like it just hit that exact same level. And then you can see right down here at 55K, 35 Bitcoin, although it's still there. Yeah, so there's like 35 Bitcoin right there. It's just a way to overlay liquidity onto the chart. The heat map is just showing you liquidity on the chart. I don't know if Trading Light is free. I think it's not. There's a free trial or something. I'm not associated with them, by the way. So I don't have any. What is it? TradingLight.com. How can I understand? Is it what is a short or long position? Those are bids that somebody placed that got partially filled. Right? Somebody had there a bunch of buy orders. It's only showing resting orders. It's not showing stops or anything. It's just resting. So, and you can see it can get kind of messy. And I do think there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of just bullshit. And I definitely recommend that you don't get too caught up in Trading Light or in heat maps in general, but they can be useful. So you can actually look at this. You can really see here on historically how well they worked for these levels. Can I draw? How do I draw? There we go. Check this out. This is a Coinbase, right? Coinbase had all these resting orders. It wicks right into these orders and proceeds to nuke. And then we do it again. Look at that. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even notice this until now. This is kind of phenomenal. Jesus. So that is pretty. Yeah, Coinbase and BitMEX are. Liabi, yeah, I'll get you on in just a second. Yes, Coinbase this is phenomenal. To be honest, I didn't even notice how accurate this was. I gotta pay more attention to Trading Light again. Yeah, BitMEX is also very accurate. BitMEX's liquidity is really accurate, to be honest. Their order book. This is why I overlay. So you notice how I always overlay BitMEX on Teal Street. It's not a coincidence. It's because their liquidity tends to be the most accurate in terms of reflecting what the market's actually thinking. If you look at just like Bybit, for example, it's almost all just the market maker. Whereas on BitMEX, it's much more authentic. Okay. So you do have to adjust the sensitivity on Trading Light though for every exchange because it's different, right? So every exchange has a different amount of volume. So yeah, so you can see BitMEX has a little bit of bids right below the 55 level as well. But other than that, BitMEX is pretty sparse right now. Let me come down the sensitivity. Yeah, they've got 55 and then they've got 52. That's correct. Yes. So I mean, you can't have resting sell orders above the price. So if you see the orders above the price, so you can't have resting buy orders above the price. If you see resting orders above the price, they have to be sell orders. Triggered orders are not resting on the book. Triggered orders are triggered and then they are added on the book. This is a heat map only shows orders on the books. They don't show orders that are not on the books. So yeah, so you can tell that it's a buy because it has to be resting on the book, and if it's below the price, the only type of order that can rest on the book is a buy. So that, yeah, so these are not triggered orders. Triggered orders don't show up on the order book, you guys, just in case that new for you. So yeah, so the order book shows resting orders only. Okay, and resting orders are limit orders that have been either triggered or placed manually as limit orders. A stop order is an order that's not on the books yet. It just has a trigger price at what point, when it gets triggered, at which point the engine will add it to the books. That's why there can be slippage on your stops, because it takes time between when the trigger when the conditional order or the stop order gets triggered. There's a latency between when it gets triggered and when the matching engine can actually add your order onto the book to get filled. Hidden orders are not shown, yes, but most exchanges don't support hidden orders. But yes, also hidden orders aren't shown. But that's basically it. So the only orders that show up here are going to be resting public limit orders. And of course, Trading Light is using just the public order book data. They don't have any sort of special data feed or anything, so they don't have any way to know about stop orders either. So yeah. Okay, so that's basically it. I think Coinbase right now has more information when it comes to Trading Light. Oh, hold on, I want to take a little more off. Do I? No, I'll leave it. Okay. What happened to my oh yeah, so I'm using Teal Street 1.0 right now on stream, and it just lagged overnight and got disconnected to the WebSocket feed. I ended up getting stopped out, unfortunately, because of a very poorly placed stop. I must have gotten stopped at like $20 something. Can you not get aggregated? Can you not get aggregated trade? You mean like see all of them? I think you can, but I'm not 100% sure. To be honest, it might be a premium feature, to be honest. Yeah, they also have some indicators, which is cool. Yeah. Anyways, is there a free site with the most important features? Is there a free? I don't know. Does anybody know? Is there a free heat map site? I think TradingView is probably worth it. I do think there is a few one. Does CoinAlyze have heat maps though? I don't think CoinAlyze does. Does it? Oh, Dirk. Okay, yeah, Dirk just sent one. There you go. Cool. Good stuff, Dirk. Nice. Very cool. And it does have aggregated. Very cool. Good to know. There you go. Good stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's basically all I got. Not a heat map, but overview of the. Oh yeah, that's also those are yeah. If you guys can you guys post, I'll do it. Make sure those are in our Discord under resources or under tools. I'll add them. So that's it. I'm basically, this was just a quick little scalp. I'm gonna look to short, ideally shorting close to 56K. I'd love to short right above 56K. If we could get a run of 56K, that would be really great. Like 56.1 would be an absolutely amazing short. So that's what's up. I would love that. So until then, I'm gonna hold this long for another minute and then get out. Oh, last thing. So I know tons of you guys are on the wait list for Teal Street, for the Teal Street beta. We're basically letting people off the wait list now. But I want to let the first people we let off, I want to be able to work with them directly just in case there's issues. So I had Lat make a Discord channel for the beta. And if you would like to get off the wait list right now, eventually we're going to let everyone off the wait list in a few days. But if you want to get off the wait list right now, and just DM lat. Do you have? Yeah, DM lat on Discord. So I think it's a lat. What is it? Lat 043, I think. DM. Go. And I think you have to send him a friend request. So he'll add you to the Discord. It's not a different server. It's a different channel. Yeah. So just DM lat. That's it. Bybit testnet should work. No, Bybit testnet works. Everything on the Teal Street 1.0 has not been maintained in forever. Lat is not in the server. How to post his Lat isn't in the server. Did I do his name wrong? Hold on a second. There you go. When to take profits on 56.1K shorts, 55. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you're trading. Is it a scalp? Is it a more of do you have spot exposure that you need to hedge? It's up to you. So, but yeah, I mean, if I think it's a scalp, I think like 55.4K would be a scalp. So if you're looking to scalp this, so I'll probably take the trade on two accounts. One as more of like a hedge type thing or a swing, and one as a scalp. So on Bybit, I would like to take this. On Bybit, I would be looking to take something close to this, probably. Okay, by the way, my stop losses, I usually don't let them hit, for better or for worse. So while I may put an emergency stop closer to here, for example, the reality is I'm targeting more of getting out around 56.2. Our keyboard shortcuts running. Okay, great question. So I haven't gotten to implementing the native keyboard shortcuts because we've been so overwhelmed with other things, and the short keys extension should work still. But in the next couple of days, the native key binding should work. So basically, right, I'm out. Basically, use the short keys. Use short keys still. Let me actually update something. I want to make sure that I've got it right, because right now I think if you search, it can trigger the shortcuts. So I want to make sure that I fix that. But I'll get the native shortcuts working promptly. I want to get the trading view chart trading integration done first, though, because I think that's more important. So we post only limit order with one click. So the way this trading, and this is a little bit confusing, I think, but right now we don't have it set up so that you can just click the depth chart. When you see me trading, I'm doing two things. I'm clicking the chart, and then I'm placing an order with a keyboard shortcut. So let me. All right. So this is what you're seeing, and if you see, yeah. So if you see me doing this, what I'm doing. Yeah, we'll get the keyboard shortcuts working on natives very soon. What I'm doing is I'm clicking and pressing the keyboard shortcut. Click, shortcut, click, shortcut, click, shortcut. Same over here. Click, shortcut, click, shortcut. You can't see anything even because it's not worked for me. Yeah, anyways. Yeah, so that's what that is. I may enable clicking automatically because I think that's what people think I'm doing, or maybe I'll make it so you have to hold a hotkey. I think the idea would be like maybe you hold option and click, and that places orders. I think that would be more useful. But right now, we'll get there. Right now, the way it works is when you click, it sets the price in the order form. You can see the price here, the order form. When I click, it sets the price on, and then I'm using keyboard shortcuts to place orders. So click, click, place sell, click, place sell, click, place sell, click, place sell. And you can do this. I mean, I can do this. I've gotten really used to this. So I can do this. I can do this like a second. This is how I basically trade. But we're getting the trading view stuff set up pronto so that you can actually do FTX trading. So that's what I'm working on today. Getting TradingView set up so that you can basically not just drag your orders, but even place orders via the little plus button on like you can on FTX. So you should be able to do that for Binance, Bybit, and all of our exchanges. That's the idea. Um, that order book's also combined. Yeah. So this order book has, you can see I'm overlaid with BitMEX, but you can actually overlay with anything. So you can overlay with any unified symbol. So for example, if you want to see if you wanted to see Binance overlaid, you can. There you go. So there's the there's the Binance book. If you wanted to see, there's the USDT. If you wanted to see the inverse one, the coin margin one, there that is. If you want to see FTX, there's the FTX book. A few things to note: each WebSocket doesn't need the same amount of data. So you notice how these just are flat from here over. That is just because of the way the WebSocket works. So not every exchange sources the same amount of data. We are working on a solution that would merge in more data, but it's going to take some serious work to get working. Eventually, we'll support a full, ideally, as much order book data as we can get. But from the WebSocket feeds that the exchanges provide publicly, they all have different limits. So, for example, you can see that BitMEX and Binance source tons of WebSocket data. So you can basically see almost as far out as you can scroll, whereas Bybit doesn't. You know, there's not really anything. There's not really anything we can do about that without a lot of work. So eventually we'll improve that, but for now that's just it is what it is. You can really see it on the individual mode. So if I'm on combined mode, or let's just look at cumulative mode for a second. You know how you can see the order book up here is sort of a pyramid shape, and then it sort of just flattens out. That's not because there's just nothing here. It's because we are just filling in dummy data. The main idea is because a lot of the times people want to be able to see their orders. So we figured it makes sense to show the dummy data just so that you can scroll farther to see your order. Also because you might have an overlaid order book that has more data. Um, on individual mode, you can really see this because with the cumulative mode, we just add it's just like um, basically fake data that just flattens it out. But on individual mode, there's no fake data. You can't really add in fake data. Like what are you going to do? So each on individual mode, each level doesn't add it to the previous sum. It's just one. It's just the amount of orders at that level. So that means that once you run out of order book data from the WebSocket feed, there's just nothing there, right? So you can see how if you scroll far enough down on individual mode, there's just eventually just runs out of data. Yeah, so just zeros, right? And there's nothing to fake here. So that's it. Are you planning on making an aggregated order book versus the aggregated depth chart? Eventually, I think that the aggregated depth chart in some ways is more useful than an aggregated order book, and we have such a long queue of features. I don't think we need to implement the aggregated order book um, right off the bat. Why is your teal stream a little bit different? Because you're not trading on beta. So that's it. Yeah. So I think we'll stick with what we've got. Oh yeah. Well, so are we adding? Yeah, I'll work on that. So it's already combined with. You can combine two order books together right now. We would love to combine arbitrary numbers of order books together. It won't be that hard to support that, and we will support it. But for the time being, it just supports two. So if you switch the overlay market, the secondary market, to something else, then the current one will go away. So if you wanted to see, I don't know, yeah, FTX again, right? Then the other one disappears basically. If you want to see BTC USD, yeah. That is just because of the way I built the order book, but eventually I'll make it so you can combine as many as you want. Yep, that's it. I'm already out of this. I forgot about that. That is a micro. Oh, bug. Okay. Yep, that's it. There we go. Cool. Um, yeah, so that's basically it. Um, I'm already out of my longs. I'm going to get back to work. If you guys want to try, if you're on the wait list and you want me to take you off the wait list right now, um, just email or DM. Sorry, not not email. DM Lat. Um, just know that you have to work with us right now because there's issues and stuff. So if you want to get off the wait list right now, we'll let you off. But just we expect you to help us out. All right, that's it, guys. I'll upload this to YouTube. We missed it. Cool. Peace.